Hello, I'd like to show you how to make some simple sketchbooks just by folding A4 sheets of paper. And then when we've had a look at 3 different ways of folding paper, then we'll have a look at making some covers. So these are the materials and tools that we'll need to make our sketchbooks. I've got a ruler, a cutting board, which is useful but not essential. I have a nice bone folder, but a kitchen knife will do. There's an awl with a sharp point, but a needle would be the same. A craft knife, scissors, and some glue, or a glue stick. And then I have some sheets of A4 paper. I have some wrapping paper that I found, some pieces of magazine paper, and a thicker piece of card. And for the covers. So I'll start by showing you how to do the simple paper folds. So we'll take one sheet of A4 paper and we're going to fold it in half, and it's quite nice to take a little bit of time to fold things nicely and get the corners to meet up, because it makes the sketchbook look neater when you've finished it. So when we fold like that, we can use the bone folder to help us fold the paper really nicely. And we'll open it up and fold it back. But we could also use just the blade of the kitchen knife to help us fold back as well. And when it's thinner paper, like the photocopier paper here, it's actually quite easy, just get the corners together, to just press with your finger. With heavier paper, it's nicer to do it with the tools. So we'll press that one that way. So we folded it in the centre both ways, fold it back on itself. And for the third fold, we'll take the short end into the centre and we'll fold there, and we'll turn it over and fold that sheet back there. So that's all the folding done. So we have one line in the middle, and we have 1, 2, 3 lines running up and down. Now I'm just going to use the needle to mark out where we're going to make the tears, so it won't mark the paper with pencil. So if we come along the middle line to the first junction, and we'll make a little point there, and then we come across the middle onto the next one, and we'll make a little mark there. And then if we have the sheet of paper, we can use the craft knife and just place the blade at the point that we made. And if we just run that along the paper till it comes to the second point. It wasn't quite straight enough, but it's okay. We can even that up afterwards. This time we open it up and we want both of these to rise up. So we'll put that one there and that one there. So they both come up, and then we lift the paper and push the other 2 folds into the centre to make a cross. And then fold them all over. Fold that one back this way. And we've made our first folded notebook. So our second notebook we start in the same way and we fold the paper again in half. In fact, we repeat all the folds that we made the last time. And we'll fold in here. Center. And the last fold back to the edge again. And try and keep it as straight as possible. There we are. That's it. And this time, if we make sure that we've really folded it well in the middle, this time I'm going to put a tiny point there down at the first meeting between the up and down and the straight across one. And I'm just going to very gently tear the paper along the middle fold to that point. And then I'm going to make a concertina and fold the paper round, fold it back, and keep making a concertina all the way to the end. And that makes our second folded book. So put that one over there. And the third book that we'll make from a single sheet of paper, we make the same fold again, and we'll fold that quite firmly. If you want, I quite like the torn edges on the edge of the paper. If you want it to be really sharp, then you can do any of these cuts on your cutting board with a metal ruler. So a look at that. So you can do any of these by tearing or by cutting. So this time we're actually going to come down the center of the paper. I'm just going to cut gently all the way down, or you can tear it. So now we have two equal strips of paper, and we're going to fold each one in the center and bring the short ends together. And bring the short end back into the center. And we'll do the same at the other side. So we have one concertina, and we'll make the second one in exactly the same way. Match them up quite nicely. Fold to the end, and another fold to finish it off. Now, we have our two concertinas, so we need to join these together. So we need to take another extra piece of A4 paper. I have a piece here, which is the same height as those. And so if we get a small piece of paper like this, what we want to do is to make it about 3 centimeters across. I'm going to make a small mark at 3 centimetres there on the paper, and then I can just fold it across to meet the edge nicely there. Fold it all the way down, and we can fold that back, and we can just gently tear this piece of paper, and I'm going to keep this bit here. And then if we fold this in half, so this is going to make the hinge to hold the two sets together. So I am going to get my glue stick. I'm going to glue on the first side of the hinge. And I'm going to lay this sheet of paper onto there and press down. And then this side here will pop into there. So if I turn this round, and we'll glue on the second side, and we'll put this piece of paper in to meet the middle edge again. And we'll press that one down. And that makes a really nice, neat join for the two concertinas. And if there's a little extra bit of paper, you can always trim that off. And those are our 3 folded paper books. So now what you might like to do is to make a cover for the book. So we shall have a look at that. Put this away. So for these books, it's quite nice when you cover them if the cover goes around the back and then comes in nearly all the way back to the centre again. And that helps the cover to stay on the book. This one runs back as well, and this is made out of thinner paper. This one's made from card, and this one's made from a small collage that I made from white magazine paper, some coloured magazine paper that I put onto some thicker white paper that I had. But it's still going to be twice the length of the book. So let's start with something that's going to be twice the length of the book. So this piece of paper here is going to be roughly twice the length of the book, so this is going to be a good enough size to make a cover for one of the books. So we'll take the concertina book. And the first thing is that the book is going to sit in the middle of the paper, so we'll just bring it in and we'll mark the halfway point, and then the book will sit in there. And there's a little bit showing, but that's okay. So to make the mark for this piece here, I'm going to hold the book in the centre, just hold it gently there, lay it down, open the top up, and this is when the bone folder or the kitchen knife will be quite useful. So if I take this and I run the edge down here, or if you have the bone folder, you can press down on that and then lift it up, and if you run it along the back of the paper, that helps to reinforce the mark, and that is just where we're going to gently fold the paper back. And then we'll do it for the other side. Turn it over, place the book in the centre, lay it down, and once again we'll just run the knife down the edge of the paper at the edge of the book. We lift it up and we'll just run the knife along the outside edge, and that gives us a nice mark to press down on. And when we put the book into here, we can open the first page and tuck it in, and then we can tuck in the last page, and now our book has a little cover. And the other really nice thing about the cover is that because it's not just stuck onto the book, when you've finished using the book, you can take it out. You can turn all of the pages in on themselves, pop it back into the cover, and use the other side of the paper. So the other papers that I have are a soft paper that's more like a wrapping paper, and this isn't twice the size of my book, but I think that I might just have enough to have 1, 2. So I'm going to fold this in half, like that, and turn it over, and I'm going to use my knife to make a nice clean cut down the centre. Now I have to join these two together to make the cover. So what I'm going to do is the same as I did for joining the concertina together. I'm going to find a piece of paper that's a nice colour that will go with the cover. You could find something that's a contrast, or I've chosen some more orange, and I'm going to just mark out the length that I need there. I'm going to fold this piece of paper, which is just from a magazine. I'm going to tear that off. And in fact, I think I would just like to have the orange cover, so I'm going to use my ruler and just take away the red. And then I'm going to fold it in half. Now I'm going to move those aside. And I'm going to take my spare piece of paper again to put the glue on. I'll glue 1/2 here. And I'm going to lay one piece of paper in the first half and press that down. I should glue the second half. You might want to make sure that the pattern is going the same way. Maybe it doesn't matter. I think it's quite nice this way. lay that down, put that piece of paper into there. And then, so that's going to join my two pieces of paper together. And then it's just the same process. If we pop the book into there and let it rest in the middle, then I'm going to just run my bone folder down there. Just press along the back again. And fold that in. Turn it over. We can run down here and lift it up and run down the back. We should be able to pop that one into there and that one into there. Now, as you can see, there's a little bit of white showing there, but that's quite easy to rectify if we just place that on the cutting mat, and we'll take the knife and we'll just gently come across the bottom. And there we are. And it'll give us a little cover. So they're great fun to write in, and they're great fun to draw in, and then when you've finished you can always make a new set of pages, keep the same cover, use it again, you can add more paper in, use different sorts of paper, and just have good fun making and using your own sketchbooks.